Welcome back to Hannity. The feud between 2016 GOP presidential contenders Donald Trump and Marco Rubio continues to heat up. Now, Donald Trump's latest jab came in the form of a retweet that the GOP frontrunner posted, which shows a photo of a young Rubio, and it reads in part, quote, "Never hire a boy to do a man's job. Marco seems like a nice boy, well-mannered, but bought and paid for." The retweet goes on to say that Rubio doesn't have the swagger to negotiate with Vladimir Putin or run the country, and tells him to drink his milk and eat his cookies. Well, that's just the latest in a line of recent attacks between the two candidates. Watch this.
By the way, Rubio has the worst voting record in the United States Senate. He doesn't go for vote. Who has better hair, Trump or Rubio? You tell me. Trump. Senator Rubio is a lightweight. We understand that. He wouldn't be able to do this. He wouldn't know a trade deal from any other deal.
Marco Rubio is a lightweight. I can't imagine that he goes anywhere.
He's a very insecure person. He doesn't like to be criticized. You know, the presidency's a tough job. You're going to be criticized, and you can't flip out every time somebody says something about you. He does.
Look, I'm not interested in the back and forth to be a member or a part of his freak show.
Who knows with Donald what he's trying to do? Who cares?
Here now with reaction from the Daily Caller, Jamie Weinstein, and from the Trump Organization, Michael Cohen. That is pretty harsh. Marco Rubio, smart, intelligent, was former Speaker of the House of Florida. Why is this even going on this way?
Well, first of all, Mr. Trump didn't start it, and we talk about this at
Who started? What did Marco do to start
Marco Rubio made a comment about Mr. Trump, and it was obviously a negative comment because he needs what I don't remember what he said, but it was something that Donald Trump's not a serious candidate. He is a serious candidate, and going into the whole issue of the polls, the last 7 polls that came out has Mr. Trump anywhere between 34 and 29, where they have Rubio at 12-5. This isn't a contest. This is like a white belt versus a black belt.
All right, so then if that's the case, why would he pay attention to somebody that he doesn't even view as competition?
Well, he doesn't view him as competition, but Donald Trump's a counterpuncher. If you come at him, he's going to set the table. And the table is, come at me, and I'm going to come back at you, and I'm going to hit you so hard that you're going to be gone from this race.
I'm going to hit you so hard that your mother's going to feel the vibrations. All right, Jamie, what's your reaction to all this?
Well, look, Donald Trump is endlessly entertaining, but I think he's attacking Rubio now because he sees Rubio as a real threat. Michael's right. Rubio is not near where Donald Trump yet is in the polls, but he's rising. And if you looked at the last debate, there was no candidate on stage other than Rubio who had a mastery of issues the way Rubio did and could express it in a narrative that was inspiring. So I think Donald Trump sees that, is a little intimidated by that, especially since Donald Trump himself hasn't really done the policy homework to go toe-to-toe with Marco Rubio in a policy debate.
Yeah, except there's only one problem. The problem is that whatever it is that Marco Rubio has done has failed the United States. We are in serious trouble. And if you want to talk about the only person that's on that entire stage that's a real deal maker, the king of all deals, is Donald Trump. He's the only one that's ever created a job. Marco Rubio has never created a job. He's been on the government's pay since the day he finished school. He's in the pockets of big business, guys like Norman Brayman and others, and he can't balance his own budget. He's financially in trouble himself, and he's only been successful in getting out of trouble as a direct result of big sponsors.
Jamie?
Well, look, the Trump Organization has great opposition researchers. If I was working for Mr. Trump, these are the attack lines I probably would tell him to make because they do resonate to some degree. But the reality is that if you look at the record of Donald Trump, what his positions are on a lot of issues, and Marco Rubio, look, I'm no Rubio booster, but he has laid out a very conservative foreign policy compared to Donald Trump, where he wants to retreat from the world. He wants to retreat from the Ukraine region. He doesn't want America to put a fight up there. He doesn't want to fight Putin in Syria.
Let me stop you right there.
Marco Rubio predicted what we're seeing in Syria right now. What you're saying
is absolutely inaccurate. First of all, can you imagine Marco Rubio sitting down with the likes of Vladimir Putin? It's taking
Marco
candy
did
from
predict. It was an interesting line when he called Putin a gangster and laid out exactly what he's engaged in now, going in to help Assad in Syria, et cetera, and has ambitions to exert his influence in the region because of America's vacuum created by Obama. He was dead right on that.
Yeah, I know. He's not dead right about it, Sean.
Yeah, he
First
is.
of all,
Sure he was.
the bottom line is, if in foreign policy you want to be able to get what you need, you got to be that deal maker. You got to be Donald Trump.
Let me ask you this.
Vladimir Putin will look at Marco Rubio the same way he looks at Obama. It's like a lamb chop.
Well, it seems the deal. It seems the deal that Donald Trump wants to make
What's
in
a
Syria
lamb chop?
is to give.
It's something that he's going to. He has no respect for him.
Oh.
He's gonna enjoy just eating our lunch, which is something that nobody will get over
Jamie,
on Donald
back
Trump.
to Jamie. Jamie.
Well, it seems like Donald Trump's already conceded in Syria before there's even any negotiation. He said he's very happy with Putin going in and putting combat troops in Syria and engaging in the Syrian civil war, which only allows the Russians to get a foothold in the Middle East, which has been a cornerstone of American foreign policy for the last 3 or 4 decades, is to keep Russia out of the Middle East. So it seems like he's already capitulated, Donald Trump,
Boy,
before
look
the
at how well
negotiations
we've
have
done.
even
Look
begun.
at how well we've done with our Middle East policy over, as Josh said, the last 30 years. Just what a wonderful display of competence by our politicians.
So let me tell you
the one issue.
Real quick.
One sec. Let me tell you the one issue. The issue is the American people are sick and tired of everything that's going on with Washington, and that's why Donald Trump is and will continue to be the top candidate.
Guys, thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it. And thank you, Jamie. Coming